As you watch this video of us doing some wandering around Canada, Vietnam and Thailand, I will be discussing my heart attack turned hiatal hernia surgery. Also my visit to a Thai hospital. What a different experience that was compared to Canada. By the way, welcome back, and if this is your first time here, welcome. I'm Steven and my Thai wife's name is Nutch. Back in October 2022, we were visiting my sister's daughter's and son-in-law's home for Thanksgiving dinner. Of course I overate. Later, back at my sister's house where we were staying the night, I had a brutal time getting comfortable, which was odd because my sister has the most comfortable beds I've ever slept on. Cutting to the chase, we drove back home the next day and I wasn't feeling much better. I told Nutch that if I'm not feeling better tomorrow, I was going to go to emergency, which is exactly what I ended up doing. Keep in mind that this is Thanksgiving weekend in Canada. It's Sunday, so the hospital in the small city where we live is on a skeleton crew. I drove myself over there as soon as I woke up. After checking in and dealing with the mandatory paperwork, I was sent to the waiting room where, to my surprise, I was the only one there. I didn't have to wait that long before they ushered me into another room to wait some more. The next steps is where they took my blood pressure, and took some blood and of course a multitude of questions designed to get to the root cause of my distress. Then I was sent back to the waiting room, which by now had a few more people. I'm pretty sure I was in there more than 1 hour when the nurse came in to inform me that it would be quite a bit longer to hear my results, and she said I could leave. And if I did, I would need to make an appointment with my family doctor to get the results. I pondered this for a while because I didn't have a family doctor at that time. I went to the desk and asked if I could get the results if I went to a walk-in clinic. Turns out I could, on Tuesday after the holiday, so I left. I went out to my car and called my wife to tell her to get ready because when I got home in a few minutes, we would go grocery shopping. I no sooner hung up from Nutch and started my engine when my cell phone rang. It was the nurse. She said, "Come back inside." A little taken back by her tone, I called my wife to cancel our shopping trip and said I would update her when I had something to tell her. When I got back inside the hospital, there was now a sense of urgency. I was told the results came back and my troponin numbers were very high. Troponin is a protein found in heart muscle cells, and elevated levels in the blood indicate heart damage, potentially from a heart attack. Single-digit levels are normal, mine was in the thousands. So now the rest of this part is a bit of a blur because of a flurry of activity surrounding me. In very short order I was admitted and hooked up to the EKG machine. More blood was taken as well as stabs in my lower belly with, I think, blood thinners and pills. My poor wife, new to Canada, English not very good, was beside herself. I called my friend and coworker Alec for 3 reasons. 1. It didn't look like I was going to make it to work on Tuesday. 2. Could he bring his wife and take my car home and before coming go get Nutch? All of which he did gladly. My wife didn't have her license yet, so I needed Alec to drive my car as it was parked on the street. Turned out I got a parking ticket anyway, which I fought and won. Fast forward 1 week, many pills and needles in the belly, and a CT scan. I was being treated as if I had a heart attack. I never had a heart attack before, but for some odd reason, even though the attending doctor told me that's what happened, I was skeptical. I was sharing a room with a man and a woman that had elevated troponin levels as well, but because mine were the highest, I was first to go, even though they were in the hospital longer than me, by an ambulance to the big city hospital for a coronary angiogram test that our small city hospital couldn't do. I think I left in the ambulance about 10 a.m. It's just about 3 hours to the city hospital, and by 1 a.m. I was back in my hospital bed. The good news was I got flown back by air ambulance, which was a lot more comfortable than the highway trip earlier. The results from that test revealed that I didn't have a heart attack, but I had what is known as hiatal hernia. A hiatal hernia or hiatus hernia is a type of hernia in which abdominal organs slip through the diaphragm into the middle compartment of the chest. This may result in gastroesophageal reflux disease or laryngopharyngeal reflux with symptoms such as a taste of acid in the back of the mouth or heartburn. Apparently, the hernia causes pressure on the heart, which caused the troponin levels to read very high. Another good piece of news was that my heart and arteries looked pretty good. I was scheduled for surgery for January 2023 and sent home. I think I was in the hospital that time for 10 days. The hiatal hernia surgery went off as planned that January. If you, or someone you know had that surgery, let me know in the comments below if it's true that you can no longer throw up. You know, one too many beers or whiskeys, or both, and the next thing you know is you're talking on the big white phone. Is Ralph there? A friend told me this, as he knows someone that likes to drink and found out the hard way that she can't toss her cookies. I don't have this issue because I rarely participate in adult beverages any longer, and not because of the surgery. Anyway, fast forward to 2025. I mentioned I would talk about my Thailand hospital experience. Here it is. 3 days ago, prior to me making this video, I wasn't feeling great. And as the day progressed, I didn't feel any better. I've had this feeling in my stomach area before, and it usually passed on its own. Not this time. After my nightly shower and getting ready for bed, I found I could not get comfortable. To my embarrassment, normally once I lay down I have a release of air from my balloon knot. This time, nothing. So my diagnosis was that something was preventing me from farting. After rolling around on the bed and then trying jumping jacks, I went to the toilet and I was successful at going number 2 just a bit. But no air. Sorry, I'm trying not to be graphic. Nutch was trying her best to convince me to go to the hospital, but I resisted because it was late and I'm not a fan of driving at night in Thailand. She now has her license but still doesn't do much driving and never at night. I finally relented because I wasn't getting any better and I could tell I wasn't going to get to sleep. About 15 minutes of driving and we arrived at the hospital emergency almost exactly at midnight. Nutch answered the admitting nurse's questions. She took my weight and sent us to the desk where another person took my passport and Nutch answered all of his questions. By 12:18 a.m., I was laying on a bed, telling the nurse, whose English was pretty good, everything I could about my symptoms. She explained that I was having heartburn. I didn't recognize it because I haven't had heartburn since my surgery, and when I used to have it before, which was so often that I was never too far away from a bottle of Gaviscon. In the past, the pain may have started in my stomach, but I never really took notice until it worked its way up my chest to the point that I thought I would breathe fire. I also made certain that Nutch had told them about my hiatal hernia surgery 2 years ago so they wouldn't jump to conclusion and start treating me for a heart attack until they knew for sure. She gave me a needle, no idea what it was, and a concoction of 2 medicines. It all worked, praise God. Now we just had to wait 30 minutes to make sure there was no side effects. I thought it was odd that they only took my blood pressure just before releasing me. I would have thought maybe twice, once I arrived and then at the end. Regardless, it was normal. Nutch paid the bill 140 Thailand bahts and we were back home before 1:30 a.m. All of that for just under $6 Canadian, which is just over $4 US. I am 63 years old and I took a big chance this time coming to Thailand without health insurance, but I will not do that in the future.
Alright, this is the part of the video where I ask you to leave a comment in the comment section below this video that says, your videos suck, man. It helps the algorithm. Whatever you do, just do something. And then leave me a thumbs up or a thumbs down, or hit the like button, the subscribe button, or the bell notification. All of that would be appreciated. Okay, do something. Thanks for your time. And we'll see you in the next one, or over here.